Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery. We'll talk comics for the week, as well as whatever news is on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
This is Dave.
And now, on with the show. All right, welcome to podcast Spooky Season Part 2. Mm-hmm. This week we have a billion comics to talk about. There's so many new books. Dave, how many signs did you make for new comics
A billion.
week? That's what I thought. A billion signs. Dave makes all the signs for the store. Yeah. So if you like them, make sure to say thank you. If you don't, make sure and punch him in the face.
That's all I ask. No, I feel like
They're informative. No one should punch him in the face.
I feel like there's I dare them to punch me.
See, I knew what he wanted.
I bet I made like 16 at least signs today.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And there was like some of them that were group signs, like the X-Men Age of Revelation has started, and so that got multiple signs just so we can tag them all, although we did group them together on the shelf.
Yes, we did.
Which I think is a good call.
Also, This is a third week in a row. Basically, I think we're putting all the graphic novels on a table because the wall is so full of new comics. Comics are rolling right now, y'all. There's a lot of good stuff coming out.
This is just this is how it is now. All the graphic novels will forever go on a table.
Ton of good graphic novels this week. Ton of good single issues. We'll talk about that. But first, a reminder that our Halloween party is coming up. Second annual, Saturday, October 25th. It is kid-focused for like 16 and under, but anyone who comes in will have some cool free comics to give away. Mm-hmm. But you can bring your kids in their costumes. They'll get a discount on a graphic novel. We'll have free comics. We'll have free candy. It is a fun time.
I don't know for sure if we're going to have like a little arts and crafts table.
I believe that's the plan.
But we should, because there was a dad and his daughter who came up just the other day, and he said that he had heard that there's like a thing where you can draw stuff here sometimes. Yep. And would we be doing that? And I was like, I'm pretty sure we're doing it at the Halloween thing. And she seemed very excited. Yep.
Also, Nick and Serena will draw you in any costume you choose.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to call in sick that day.
This promise not binding, by the way.
I would like to be drawn as Odin's eight-legged steed Sleipnir. Yeah.
I remember when we had some guests, and it was Chip Zdarsky. Yeah. And I asked him to draw me, and he was like, holy shit, no. He ended up doing it because he was a stand-up guy.
That is funny.
And I have that to this day. Yeah. But I remember how horrified he was about doing an actual portrait.
There's really no winning. There's a chance you'll draw something people like. There's a very good chance they're going to be like, that's how you see me? Yeah. And then you don't need that. Nobody needs that. Caricature artists are the bravest people in the world.
That's true. They really are.
They put you in giant bobbleheads and small...
the caricature artists, they kind of make everything fun and light.
Yeah.
But talk about getting punched in the face. I'm surprised more of those people do not get punched in the face.
So, there will be no caricaturists. Serena and Nick will not be drawing you in costumes.
But any given kid who's at the table drawing things will draw a portrait of you as Pikachu.
That's true. And if they don't, they won't get their candy. We'll hold it hostage.
Got weird.
Anyway, come to the party where none of these horrible things will happen.
It is going to be super fun, and I'm happy to see some of the kids already looking forward to it.
And there will be an artistic element. There always is.
There always is. We got some more games in. Games are also rolling. There's a lot of games coming in all the time.
I think we got like 20 new games.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
We got a game called Raw and Right, which is the game Raw, which is
a venerable Euro classic.
Correct. This is it's been out of print for a little while. I believe it is just back in stock.
That's a fun name, though. It's a good play on the Raw and Right.
Yes, it is. I was looking to see if I had any other info. So, it's a flip and right.
Okay.
Built on the foundation. It's a Ryan Knizia game.
What is the difference between a roll and right and a flip and right?
Flip and right has like cards and stuff that you flip over.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And not a dice.
Not a dice.
Okay.
We got Battletech Gothic, which is the new... It reimagines the Inner Sphere in a grim, dark light. So
it seems 40K-ish, but there's sort of more like, kaiju Battletechs. They are man and machine.
It says,
or monster machine.
Insane experiments in cybernetics and biology have led to the development of abominations. It's capital A, abominations.
Yep.
Mutated creatures of flesh and steel capable of competing with battlemechs on the battlefield. So the great houses are battling like these weird alien abominations.
What did they call them in Pacific Rim? What do they call their kaiju?
They just called them kaiju.
They didn't call them something else?
No,
like Titans or...
The Jaegers were the mechs.
That's probably what I was thinking of. But so Abominations is their thing in here. Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to re-lens the world, which is, pretty iconic, the iconic sort of mech fighting game. with some creepy monsters. It's like Halloween BattleTech.
It comes with 8 minis, one of which has a different faction head and options, which is kind of cool. A rulebook, a primer for the universe, a fiction novella, pilot cards. It's a cool little starter. Map sheet, everything you need to play.
It's like a very gift set-y
thing.
It's sold quite well so far.
Yeah. We got Stardew Valley, the board game, back in.
Yep. That is the exact opposite of what we just talked about.
Is it?
Stardew Valley is like a cozy, cooperative, fun game.
A cooperative game of farming and friendship.
That's exactly right.
With kaiju.
And murder.
And murder. And battle mechs.
You know, as we said, you can play these adorable games, these cozy games, very competitively, and you're going to be like, you know, my cozy farm is going to be so adorable and prosperous, it's going to put you into the ground.
I'll be so fucking cozy, you'll never stand it.
Except that apparently you are working together.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can't sabotage them.
Right.
You can sabotage everyone.
The board, I guess, is trying to decozy your farms.
Right, exactly.
A blight has struck your crops, and now everyone who partakes of them gets the plague.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen.
Yep. No, I don't think it does.
Stardew Valley is a big game.
Yeah, it is. It's been out of print for a while as well. Glad to see it back in. We got a game called Summit, where you're trying to work together as rivals or alone. So it's like it is a tile-laying, card-playing, dice-rolling survival game. That's 3 mechanics.
Mountain climbing?
You're trying to climb a mountain.
You're trying to kill a mountain.
They're trying to kill a mountain.
Metaphorically speaking.
And there's also a Yeti expansion.
Oh, that's cool.
So this seems fun.
This is
Now the mountain tries to kill you.
Cliffhanger, the tile-laying game.
Yes. We got the fix for 626, which is a Stitch is back to his destructive ways, and it's a deduction game. You have to capture Stitch and turn him back into friendly Stitch.
What is it called?
The fix for 626.
Oh, is that what his
Experiment
his
66.
name in the thing?
Yeah.
I was like, that name doesn't have Lilo and Stitch in it.
No, but everybody's a big Stitch fan knows
Sure.
he's 626.
It's true.
This is a fun kids game. They put the Carcassonne expansions back in print, and in some
all at
they
once.
They reimagined them too.
There are 10 of them.
There are 10 of them. There are Circus and Artists, Siege and Defense, Castles and Bridges, Jousts and Crests, Sheep and Shepherds, Messengers and Mayors, Towers and Thieves, Dragon and Fairy, Traders and Builders, and Inns and Cathedrals. A couple of those I recognize. I think a lot of them are new
You know
mechanics.
what they didn't reprint?
What's that?
The Catapult.
The Catapult is the weirdest, randomest. You really like randomness in your games.
I do. That is me in a nutshell. Random. Not the X-Men character.
We got a new random. I haven't thought about that guy in a while.
No one does.
We got a new D&D miniature set, the Ghost Light,
Yep.
which has mummies, bullywugs, bodaks. It seems to be a little bit swampy and haunted bogs.
It's spooky for Halloween.
Yeah, spooky for
There is a
oversized haunted tree.
Yeah, a haunted tree. That's the word I was looking for.
That's pretty cool.
New Shadowrun book, Risks and Rewards, which takes you to Cairo for corporate espionage heavy campaigns. Sounds fun.
Yeah. I don't know much outside the United States in the Shadowrun realm, but whenever I've read about their lore, it's always really good.
We got D&D Horrified.
Yep.
This is the 5th version of Horrified.
Right, Horrified being the cooperative, monster fighting game.
Yep.
Our staffer Serena automatically purchased it because she purchases all
She likes all
Horrified.
the Horrified.
And when I say monster, the original monsters were like basically the universal monsters.
Yes.
Then they did American cryptids like Mothman and stuff like that, and Chupacabra. And so now we have rolled around to D&D creatures.
Yep. It's got Beholder, a Mimic, a
Displacer Beast,
a Red Dragon, and you will battle those with your characters who are all different bard, cleric, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Horrified is it's one of my favorite co-op games.
It's very fun.
And the reskin D&D version definitely has my interest. We also got D&D Welcome to the Hellfire Club, which is the...
is this an alternate starter set?
It is an alternate starter set. The idea is that you are finishing Eddie Munson's final campaign.
From Stranger Things.
So
you get to play the kids' characters.
Why can't Eddie finish it himself? Is he doing something?
I don't want to talk about it.
He's playing a concert.
So just in time for Stranger Things' final season's coming up, and what is that? Like November or December or something?
It starts in. Does it start on Halloween?
It feels like it should be.
I think it is something like that.
That feels right.
But it's like Halloween to Christmas.
I just assumed it would be. I just assumed it'd be delayed because stuff.
They're all going to be in their 50s by the time they make it.
Yep. What were we talking about?
They were talking about the starter set for it.
I think it's a cool looking starter set. The art is really neat.
It is like so. So here's my question: is this just like? Is it just a normal sort of D&D game? Is there anything meta? Is there anything Stranger Things?
There are demo dogs and demogorgons and
I think the kids' characters.
The kids' characters. Yeah.
Okay, so it's steeped in the lore of their D&D game.
Yes.
That's very fun.
Yeah. The Starfinder Player Core, we got the Pocket Edition for that.
Yep.
We also got their first adventure path for that. They're doing big hardcovers now called Guilt of the Grave World. I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a basically zombie world in Starfinder called Eox.
Okay. Yeah, I remember reading about it because it had such a cool premise. There was going to be something like a meteor was going to come by and like kill everybody there. So they're like the radiation would kill them. So they're like, let's do a magical spell that kills us all and resurrects us as zombies before it even hits, and then we'll be okay because we're zombies.
Yep.
Or something to that effect.
Yeah, it's an extreme way to go around it, but it did seem to work for them. So.
It did seem to work for them, I believe. So they're not just innately an evil planet; they're like kind of neutral in these things.
Except that they did, I guess, the force that turned them into undead is evil, and so there's this influence on them.
There's some occasional evilness.
Well, this one seems to be that the corpse fleet is maybe turning on the nation. You have to avoid the corpse fleet.
That sounds cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
And then we got Pathfinder Monster Match, which is a monster dating simulator.
It sounds so fun.
You and you compete with your friends to court vivacious vampires, dashing dragons to a sentient pile of oogs.
This is a Kingster's paradise.
Yeah.
So wait, this is an adventure?
No, it's a game. It's a card game.
It's a standalone game.
Yep.
For Pathfinder.
Yep.
Yes.
But it's
80 cards is not
Pathfinder game of monster dating.
I mean, it's set in the Pathfinder world using those monsters. It's not a Pathfinder game.
My brain is hearing dating sim for the Pathfinder
world.
Yeah.
It supports 2 to 6 love-starved adventurers and plays in about 30 minutes.
It really probably should have come out in February, but...
That's pretty great, though.
But that does sound like a very fun...
No, Dave, it's the Monster Mash.
I guess.
That's a Halloween thing.
Is that what they do when they go into the bedroom?
The Monster Match is the Monster Mash.
Oh. Monster Smash
It's the first step to the Monster Mash.
Ending in the Monster Smash.
All right. It was a graveyard smash.
If you listen to the lyrics, it's not clear that it's just a dance party. It could be a monster orgy. All right, let's talk about this giant week of comics we got. Let's start with Age of Revelation, which begins in earnest this week.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of titles for this. I think we counted, and it's like 20
something.
Yeah. It's a lot.
We talked about the structure before, that basically there's like a starter special, then in between all the X-Men books kind of convert over to their alternate timeline, for a few months, and then there's an end special.
It's the Age of Apocalypse playbook.
Yeah.
Which is a beloved crossover where reality changed. Reality's not so much changing, we're jumping in the timeline.
We're 10 years in the future.
10 years in the future, and the villain is the heir of Apocalypse.
Yep.
So we know to be called Revelation, and it is formerly Cypher, once one of the lowest level mutants, now the single most dangerous
I'm going to outright say that all 5 of these books, the 5 that came out this week, are my picks.
I like all of them. Yeah.
I really enjoyed all of them across the board.
I do want to say, looks like in the back there are 18 books, but some of them are one-shots, and one of the ones that came out this week is a one-shot as well. Everything... I was worried that everything would be like kind of the same, or one big
sort of
story.
Or
no, but
in fact, they're all telling their own stories in this world. You can read what you want to read.
Yep.
As you find interest, or you can read the whole thing.
But they're very user-friendly. I didn't feel like you needed one to get the other one.
In fact, when I was reading them, I was like, I wonder, do I need to read these in any order? The answer is you can read them in any order. Yeah. They're all standalone stories set in this world.
But we got Amazing X-Men, which is what Jed McKay's X-Men has become.
Right.
He's still writing it.
It is Jed McKay on writing, Mahmoud Asrar on art, and it is, if you're looking for what is the plot story this week, Amazing X-Men is the one.
That's
it's
kind
like
of the heart of it.
It's the big story about the Resistance. They've brought Cyclops and Beast forward into their future bodies to try and see what's going on and help them stop it, and then go back in time to prevent this from happening.
And Cyclops is a badass. He always is, but man...
Jed McKay is writing a Cyclops that nobody has written in a while.
Right. One of the best Cyclopses ever.
And also, I will say, Beast gets some cool stuff here.
He does. Beast gets to be smart and cool.
He's very smart.
So I have not read any of these, but I heard y'all talking about him, and it sounded like...
Oh, you didn't read any of this week?
Not a one.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wolverine is Wolverine. People who like badass Wolverine are going to like this book.
Can I ask, what's the deal with his sort of adamantium scary skull face?
He has been turned into, what do they call it, a babble? by Douglock or Cypher Revelation. So he's his assassin basically. He's.
I don't think he's quite a Babel. I think he is basically being controlled.
I thought he couldn't talk.
I think he's just being turned into his most savage self.
Is that a thing Doug does? He makes people into like sort of mindless servitors.
Well, no, he can take away their language,
right?
So they can't speak, and then they become sort of feral.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is.
What I guess I was just asking was like, is that Wolverine's actual metal skeleton I'm seeing?
No, he's got a metal mask.
It's a mask. So basically, it's like
it's cool looking.
It is. Yeah. It is very cool.
He is very scary in this.
But Glob gets to be cool.
That's not something that generally was said, but is said. But when I read the bookend thing from the previous week, he was cool in it.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a hardened tough guy now.
But seeing kind of how Revelation and his kind of, what do they call them? Seraphim
and something else, Churisters.
Yeah, all kind of work and
they all have their stuff is all related in like sort of religious titling and
he's got various mutants who can bump his powers up so he can be more dangerous.
It's really interesting. The surprise for me was Binary.
Binary's fun
because
this replaces the Phoenix book.
It does. Which I was like, okay, cool, but I didn't even look at the cover, so I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into. But seeing Carol being the host for the Phoenix Force is really cool.
It is fun.
Yeah, I don't know if people know, but Binary was back in the '80s when you don't actually see this too often or referenced too often. But Rogue got her powers originally because she took Miss Marvel's powers.
Yep.
Yeah, and or now Captain Marvel, I guess.
Yes.
So for a time, Carol Danvers had no powers at all, and then she had an X-Men Space Adventure, and during the course of that, she got big old cosmic powers.
Yep.
So this is their riff on that from the Revelation timeline.
But it is also kind of a claustrophobic book because it takes place in a town, Carol's hometown, that she decides to save.
Okay.
And things are not going great. But it had like elements of the Mist. Bit, just kind of like.
Wait, doesn't Binary have like big Phoenix blasting and flying?
Yeah, but this world is dangerous regardless of your power level because, I mean, Revelation takes away your power to like communicate and like being who you are. So it goes poorly, as we saw in World of Revelation.
World of Revelations is the one shot this week. It is 3 stories by Al Ewing, Steve Fox, and Ryan North.
Yep.
Focusing on some other characters. The first one is kind of someone making his way through the post-apocalyptic wasteland to deliver a message, which is
kind of a text novel.
I really like this.
I thought it was really good.
And like the illustrated text.
Illustrated text.
That was really good. The second one is a Wiccan and Hulkling as they, right when the Age of Revelation has started, they confront Revelation because his mutant bomb killed a bunch of their friends.
And damn Steve Fox for making a very dark,
real dark,
really unnerving book.
And then Ryan North is telling a story of Franklin Richards in this period, which is really interesting.
So this one is kind of filling out the world setting and stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And you found it all. I mean, like from what I've seen, this is a pretty cool setting.
Oh yeah. So, they're doing some cool stuff with it. Longshots is their sort of not the group I would have thought making the wacky book, but
it's
Jonathan Hickman and Jerry Dugan who did really were the ones responsible for X-Men post-Krakoa.
Oh, the House of X, the Krakoan age.
But it definitely has some of Jerry Dugan's more Deadpool-ish.
It does. But it's also... So this is Mojo World. Yep. Mojo is trying to put together a new group. Longshot wants too much money. He consults the X-Babies. And he's basically putting together a team of heroes to go after Revelation, or...
I don't know what their ultimate goal is. I think that is fairly unclear.
Yeah.
But they're a group of bounty hunters run by Patsy Walker Hellcat.
Yeah. It's a fun, weird book.
So not everybody's a mutant in this team.
No. In fact, only one is.
Oh, okay, yeah. But it's if you like Mojo and the Mojoverse stuff, this is very much that kind of thing. And then Laura Kinney Sabretooth is going by Sabretooth instead of Wolverine. Gabby, a.k.a. Honey Badger, a.k.a. Scout, has grown up a bit.
Yep.
And they're all kind of at odds a little bit about who should be doing what. And I believe she is working with Revelation.
Laura Kinney is, yes. For reasons.
So
it's a very...
So whatever the details of that are, Revelation has working for him both Wolverine and
Laura,
and Sabretooth, aka
Wolverine. However,
Kinney,
Laura is a
goes by
little
Wolverine.
bit. I mean, is herself. Wolverine is not himself.
Right.
Yeah.
But this also stars like people like Hellion.
It feels like it's not the same creative team, but it feels like the NYX pickup.
It does,
and it's written by Erica Schultz, who has written, other things, All Hallows Eve and some other stuff.
Yeah.
But
I like the artwork in this too.
Yeah, these are a good first 5 issues. If I was if I want to see a big crossover, I want it to come out strong like this.
Yeah, and it does,
and it's a good first week.
I remember when I first started reading No Man's Land. Always still probably my favorite overall crossover, Batman No Man's Land.
It was a good one, yeah.
They had an initial 5-issue miniseries or something like that was like very much the world building kind of man on the street sort of perspective.
Yeah.
So if you've got a setting that I end up liking, I kind of really like a creative way of filling out, and it sounds like they're doing a pretty good job of that.
For sure. DCKO #1. This is Scott Snyder and Javi Fernandez. This is Snyder's third trilogy part of basically Dark Knight's Metal was Batman focused, Death Metal was Wonder Woman focused, DCKO is Superman focused.
Right.
The stories aren't really connected any more than it's about it's about multiversal type stuff.
It's basically DC's summer event, and like if you've read those other ones, cool. But I
haven't, and this is really.
But this is also build up that have been happening in Action Comics and Superman
and Justice League.
I think we've talked about the basic premise, just what we kind of surmised from it, which was this is like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat with DC heroes, and.
But there's
a story behind it.
The sort of twist is that they have to fight, no holds barred. They can't hold back. They're going to have to basically really use all their powers to their fullest.
I think we can sort of say why without getting into detail.
I mean, it has to do with the Omega effect and Darkseid's powers.
It's it's in order to sort of counter Darkseid or access the Omega power to fight him. The Omega power is like ruthless and merciless, and so that means that the fighters, in order to engage it and control it, must also be that. And so everybody has to fight to hardcore to win. You can't have I'm going to pull my punches because you're my buddy, Batman.
Yeah. They got to fight their hardest.
And there's an unusual mixture of characters and things like that will make it in.
This first issue was interesting to me because it reminds me more than anything else of like the movie Armageddon. When they all think they're going to die in this mission, and they spend because of the virtues of time travel and stuff, they have 7 days to prepare, and so they go out and get whatever piece of gear they're going to use, and then they spend time with their families. They try to wrap the villains up so the villains aren't involved. Yep. There's a really interesting downtime.
It sort of feels like that sequence is a bit of a montage. Of the final week.
Yeah,
and it's pretty good.
And then they go into a big slugfest.
So what you're saying? This is a better version of a Michael Bay film.
Except Armageddon's one of the only Michael Bay films I like.
Armageddon.
I know. I like Armageddon.
Yep.
By the way, this also begins with Superman putting on his collapsed sun brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can tell it's going to be over the top.
I liked the notion that what he wanted to call them, and then Lois is like, no, you can't do that.
There's some fun stuff in here. The people, I think Scott Snyder made his name on Court of Owls from Batman Court of Owls. Yeah. Some horror comics and things like that.
But he likes doing these big over the top things. If you like Dark Knight's Metal and Death Metal, which a lot of people did, this is in a similar vein.
Yeah. And we'll say there are a ton of variants.
Yeah, there are a ton of variants.
There are also blind bag variants that contain foil that we're doing one per person.
Yeah.
I think they're foil versions of the variants.
And you can get some of the super exclusive ones too.
Right. By the way, the obvious name is he wanted to call them Dawn's-Day Knuckles, but the obvious name, you should call them Sunchucks.
This was he wanted to call him Dawn's Day because they came after he was resurrected from his Doomsday fight.
Yes, and Lois is like, no.
What I think is funny about that is that Dawn's Day was obviously made up by Scott Snyder, and then he was like, "Oh, I hate that," and then he had his character do both.
Yeah, it felt enough like something like Superman might want to do. And that Lois would shut down.
Transformers #25 is the start of Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora's run on Transformers.
This is a lot of big summer stuff going on.
This is a lot of stuff.
So I kind of like how they did this a little bit because Jorge Corona, the
finished out the Decepticon side.
He does the Decepticon things.
That's the guy who's been the artist on the last 12 issues.
And then I think because it's Robert Kirkman and he grew up these things, they did the transition.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Like, they used to show the logo and the commercials on the cartoon.
I heard the damn music in my head when I was reading it, and I was like, God damn it, Kirkman.
The logo.
His stuff that he was doing with the Autobots and sort of the new allies that they find are really interesting. I think, without saying too much, I know Dave and I both were skeptical of G.I. Joe and Transformer in the same place.
Yep.
But it has worked out pretty well for Skybound so far. They've done really good with it. Yeah.
There's a sort of, Megatron does a sort of roll call to all the active Decepticons in it, which, kind of gives you a little bit on their personality, and he also, he kind of dresses them down, too. And, but, like, it feels like there's, like, things you can read in there and hints of what's to come. There's a cool mystery involving a human person who approaches Optimus Prime and where that's going.
Yep,
we have a few guesses.
Autobots.
There's definitely a big thing that Wheeljack finds.
Yep.
That I'm sure that is going to go to someplace.
There's a Thundercracker subplot.
There's a new character introduced who's a sort of is another human, but there's a solid chance you might recognize it if you're an 80s kid, but it's something a little unique here.
And then we get some shenanigans back on Cybertron where some darkness there.
What is her name?
Alita 1.
Alita 1. She's pretty hardcore in this.
She is like super hardcore.
She is super hardcore. Like a little bit scary.
I will also say,
by the way, this final shot of her, it's like amazingly drawn.
Dan Mora obviously has the same sort of love that Robert Kirkman does for these properties, because man, his art for the Autobots in particular, they're super cool.
I meant to mention, there's an outro from Kirkman talking about how he basically says that he went with his dad when he was 8 years old to see Transformers the movie, and it wrecked him when he saw Optimus Prime die. And he said, like, in the best way, and he said, basically, if you wondered why, death is such a heavy thing in my books and Walking Dead and Invincible, he's like, it's from that. And that
the tracks.
He also mentions he's like so crazy busy, he's like producing the Invincible series, he's writing Void Rivals and Battle Beast and Skinbreaker already,
and now this,
but he wasn't planning on doing it, but like I guess Dan Mora, as artist, we've sung the praises of Dan Mora, who's primarily been a DC artist prior to this. Before, and but that's what sort of drew him out made sure he was going to do this.
That's cool.
I mean, it also sounds like he loves the property in general. He just was like, I have no time. Shit, I guess I'll make time.
Yeah, I mean, he's writing a bunch of books. Dan Moore's drawing a bunch of books. Yet they somehow found time to do this. So,
but I will also say, I think if you haven't jumped on this book and you've kind of been wanting to, but you haven't found single issues,
jumping on point.
This is a really good jumping on point.
For sure.
It's a starting point, and then if you want to, you can backtrack on the trades, which we have, and I think the fourth and final one is solicited?
Soon, yeah, we did order it.
It has a roll call scene.
Yep.
And I think this is a great place to jump on.
In this week of giant launches, there's a little sleeper hit that is my favorite book, and that is Strange Tales #1.
Yeah.
This is by Jeremy Whitley, who is the guy who created Nadia, the new Wasp.
Oh, I'd forgotten that. Okay.
Artist is Bailey Underwood. I don't recognize the name, but the art is spectacularly good.
It's kind of a Marvel Magic User Halloween adventure.
Yep. Yeah. It stars Nico of the Runaways and Scarlet Witch.
And sort of Halloween stuff. It's kind of on the fun side of things. And it sort of begins when, Nico and her girlfriend are hanging out with who is it?
It's Hulkling and Wiccan.
Hulkling and Wiccan.
So it's a lot of powerful magic users in the Marvel.
But they are playing D&D.
They're playing D&D, and then things go awry.
There's a villain their machinations interact with the D&D stuff, so you get some fun, both magic user and D&D stuff in here. I really loved particularly the characterization on sort of our two leads, which were Scarlet Witch and Nico.
Yeah.
I like Scarlet Witch's kind of like that. I forget what they call it, but her magical doorway.
Yeah, I forgot that was a big.
That's
thing
her
for
thing,
her
which I really like.
Yeah, I think that's worthy of keeping into the lore.
It was like travelers who.
Yeah.
The last place they seek is this door or something. It's just a really cool idea.
Yep.
And there's some funny stuff in it, and we talked about like the art is really good. So
I also like seeing the Runaways characters get used. They're really good characters, and They tend to get forgotten.
There promises to be more magic users as this goes along. They tease another one by the end of this one.
I believe this is just a short 4-issue miniseries.
Yeah, but it just looks like one of those that's kind of like a cool sleeper one.
I would love to see Sleepwalker. He'd be great for this book.
It would be. I don't think we will.
I agree.
Another Imperial War one-shot, Imperial Guardians. This is co-written by Dan Abnett, who really established a lot of the Marvel Cosmic. He and Abnett Lanning built up the Guardians of the Galaxy, did the original Annihilation stuff, so it's nice to see him get a write-up.
In some ways, they are to like modern Marvel Cosmic as like Jim Starlin was to classic Marvel Cosmic.
So this starts out as a team-up between Darkhawk and Gamora, then drags in Captain Marvel, which, by the way, I don't know who the artist is on this book. Corey Smith, maybe? Yeah, Corey Smith and Luca Maresca. Y'all know I've been very critical of this band majorette costume that Captain Marvel's wearing.
Oh, I like it.
I don't, but I like it here. I think this is the best version I've seen of it.
Yeah.
Randy is a very sassy fashionista when it comes to that.
I am a sassy fashionista. But so she gets involved, and then they're looking into maybe someone trying to disrupt the Kree-Skrull alliance. There's some good reveals in there. The Super Skrull features in. You can see on the cover.
There's a big guest star at the end. It's a really good one shot. I liked it quite a bit. So Imperial has been interesting. I'm not sure where it's going to land, but I kind of like the idea of. I'm hoping there's a twist with the final issue.
Who the threats are?
Yeah,
we got one more issue.
One more issue.
Marvel is doing a miniseries, Black, White, and Blood and Guts.
Yep.
This is their horror themed. They love doing these Black, White, and Red series.
Yeah.
This has
usually they're anthologies, and they're meant to very much showcase artists. It doesn't mean that the stories are bad. It just means that the artists kind of take a little bit front and center.
Well, this one actually is definitely a little writer focused.
There's some notable writers on this one.
Because it's got Al Ewing, G. Willow Wilson, and Chris Condon, all big names.
Those are big names.
2 of them are doing Blade stories, and one of them does sort of a haunted Iron Man story.
And I believe it's maybe just kind of a coincidence that Blade is heavily featured in this first one, because I think subsequent issues will just feature other Marvel characters.
Yeah, I saw Thor.
Yep.
But good stories in there.
Yep.
Return to Planet Hulk is a one-shot. It is the 20-year anniversary of Planet Hulk.
That's crazy.
It's just crazy.
We had, the follow-up to it, World War Hulk, I guess when that was coming out, or maybe the collection.
Yeah.
Is that when we had Greg Pak
That's when we had Greg Pak, the writer, the creator of it.
Yeah.
Greg Pak returns here with Carlo Pagulan, who is the original artist, so the two of them get together to tell a lost story from the Planet Hulk days.
Yep. And Planet Hulk, as you know, was kind of, or as people may know, was the sort of the source for, what was the
Thor Ragnarok?
Thor Ragnarok. It's basically, Hulk got marooned, there was a setup of sorts, but he got marooned on a planet. He became this, with aliens that were, on par with him, became this badass gladiator, had a son. It was like his big epic fantasy adventure. Then he came back to Earth very pissed and had World War Hulk. But yes, this is the lost story of the Planet Hulk gladiator days.
I mean, that Planet Hulk and World War Hulk,
some of the best
era
modern
of Hulk stuff is great.
Yeah.
I have it all.
It was good stuff for also supporting characters like Hercules and Amadeus Cho. And, we talked about that at the time.
Yeah. Amazing Spider-Man Torn is a new miniseries by J. Michael Straczynski and Perry Perez. Set in
college days, right?
College days, yeah.
Yes.
So back when Gwen was still alive.
The Torn seems to refer to a magical book that maybe creates a new villain, like Torn Pages.
I got I think when I was making the sign for this, they kind of mentioned the old gang, Harry Osborn, Liz, and all that stuff. They may be kind of prominent in this.
They are, and it's a new JMS Spider-Man book. I think that right there, if that interests you, I would definitely check it out.
Marvel Knights The Punisher, which is going to bridge the gap between Punisher in the modern day and the futuristic world to come that they've been doing for Marvel Knights.
Yep.
This is set in kind of modern day. It's Frank Castle going to war against a crime family. Probably the most notable thing about it is art by Dan Panosian, who doesn't do a lot of interior art.
No.
But it's really nice.
He even does a new design.
It is, Punisher in some ways, a back to basics on Punisher's ass kicking.
Yeah.
Although there are a few twists and turns as well.
Yeah. The newest book from Ignition Press, which is launching with a bunch of horror books. This is called Deluge. It is set in a women's prison.
Yep. Yeah. It's kind of a cool premise.
A flooding happens, and basically.
Not like the toilet flooded, but like there's a storm.
Storm, yes.
And
it's like a New Orleans kind of thing. A levee breaks, and they're maybe So all these prisoners are like stuck in a flood, and then there might be something in the water.
I mean, we'll also say, did you say that this is Cullen Bunn written?
It's Cullen Bunn written, yeah.
Which he is known for his horror writing.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right, there's a flood of indie books number 1, so I'm going to run through those. Guy in the Chair number 1.
Great
This
comic.
is co-written by Utkarsh Ambedkar, who you would know as the lead in Ghosts.
He's been in a bunch of other stuff.
He was in Free Guy.
Yep.
He's in Pitch Perfect. He is a big old nerd, and he is co-writing this, and clearly he is sort of the star of it.
Yep.
Usually these things are like, oh, this is a pitch for a movie, I'm not as into. This is a really fun story. It's about people who are the guy in the chair for sort of spy operatives.
Yep.
And he has sort of a flirty will they won't they with his operative, and then there's some big reveals at the end that maybe put him at odds with his spy agency.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good first issue. I would watch this movie.
Same. Yeah, I was not expecting a lot out of it, but I really enjoyed this. And the artist on this, not somebody I knew, Guillermo Sana, really, really nice. Reminds me a little like Chris Samney. Just really nice stuff.
Yeah.
Weird one from the Chris Condon book from Oni called High Strangeness. Chris Condon and Daniel Noah. I think Daniel Noah is somebody. I feel like he's a TV guy or something.
This is like a supernatural stuff.
It's
right?
about the Men in Black.
Okay,
and how they deliberately do weird stuff to act weird to throw people off.
And we're not talking the fun Will Smith Men in Black. We're talking about the creepy real Men in Black that are not real but are real.
But yeah, and it's from the point of view of like a reporter, I think, who's like slowly getting involved in all this stuff, and starts tracking down like UFO abductees and Men in Black stuff. It's really interesting and weird. Something is killing the children. A monster hunter walks into a bar. This is a collection of the Something's Killing Children story that is in Hello Darkness.
Right, it was serialized in a who makes these? Is it
It's Boom.
Yeah. They've been taking all the stuff that was serialized in that and going ahead and putting it out as its own series, like Garth Ennis's War thing.
It's just a really good one shot.
So what I'll say is, if you are Something's Killing the Children fan, you'll probably want this as part of the story. And if you're not, this is a good way to jump into it, right? Like it pretty much.
It gives a good vibe of what the book is about.
Yeah. So
what she does, and
Yep.
the monster she kills.
Super Creepshow, which is an anthology with superhero horror.
It is literally like the Creepshow license, official and all that stuff, but doing, Crypt Keeper type person busting out some superhero creepy stories.
Yep. And the writing on this one, Dan Waters, Ryan Stegman, and Ed Brisson, good artists. I recognize all these artists, so 3 fun sort of superhero horror stories.
That's cool.
Red Book, which is the newest in the Blue Book books that James Tynion's been doing with Michael A. von Oming.
Yeah, I guess this is like Russian UFO
This is Russian UFO stuff. Yeah. Fun stuff. Josh Blaylock, who is the guy who I think brought G.I. Joe back.
Right, when G.I. Joe had disappeared for a while, for a big chunk of the 90s, but before it came to the really explosively popular new one from Skybound, way back in the early 2000s, there was a run at it from Devil's Due, I think.
Yep.
Josh Blaylock was writing, and he clearly loves the property because he has a new sort of tribute to it called Disavowed. And
this is this is very much G.I. Joe with the serial numbers filed off. He even has in the back every new issue of the Disavowed features an all-new United 5 public service announcement.
Oh, that's funny.
There are ninjas.
I was flipping through it though. There was like swearing and stuff. It had a little bit more edge.
Yeah, and it's nice art by Pop Man, a guy who's been working with comics for a long time. You don't see a lot of. Another book from Stephanie Williams, who last week did the Roots of Madness book. This is called Temporal. It's from Mad Cave. I did not get a chance to read this, but I did want to because I like her stuff. It looks like time travel stuff.
Cool.
Fantagraphics has a reprint of some Uncle Scrooge stuff. This is called Flintheart, Glomgold, Sinister Secret.
Is that, I think, the one of the big rivals?
Yeah,
to
it's
Scrooge?
the rival to Scrooge.
Okay. So, this is
another billionaire.
His name does kind of spell it out, I guess.
Yes.
So this is a classic Uncle Scrooge. I'm trying to see if it is Carl Barks or
one of the...
Oh, no, it's not. It's somebody else. This is from the Italian books published in 2017.
I know that's like, Italy is one of those places where they the Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck stuff really took off in a way almost that it didn't in America, or at least as the comic side of it is because it has stayed big there.
Death to Pachuco. I only knew the word Pachuco from The Mask because there's a song in there. Apparently Pachuco is a young Mexican-American with a taste for flashy clothes and a special jargon, and usually belonging to a neighborhood gang, which gives you a sense of what this is. It is kind of a period piece about gangs. And
it seemed like it was sort of like Latin noir. There's amidst racial tensions in the 40s. This guy is trying to, some Latino detective is trying to solve this kind of mystery, and there's maybe a serial killer and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, yeah, it sounded kind of cool.
Boom has a couple books this week. They've got Marian Heretic, which is seems like a battle nun thing, basically. She's a nun who fights evil.
Yep. And
really nice art on that one. And that is written by Teenie Howard. And then Mary Sue, that I believe is about a woman who sort of meets her
fanfic character.
Her fanfic insert that she made, yeah.
It is literally her sort of beautiful vampire, probably beautiful but deadly vampire character somehow comes to life. But there's a lot of, I think, insider stuff about the fanfic world in there, and it sounded fun.
Harley Quinn meets Elvira in a story by Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor.
I bet there's going to be some puns and naughtiness and goofy stuff.
Amanda Connor does a couple pages of the art, and then someone else who I didn't recognize, what was his name? Juan Semu, who was also really nice art.
Yeah, I thought I was skimming through this, and it looked fun and campy in kind of the way you would expect.
Yeah, you know right now if this book is for you or not.
Yeah. Yes.
And then Little Nightmares: Descent to Nowhere is a Titan comic adapting the Little Nightmares video game. I think they've done previous ones as well.
Yeah, I played one of these games, and the games are story light, but very kind of disturbing and creepy platformers. You're like in the original one, this little girl in a raincoat who there's no real backstory on other than she's escaping from captivity, and you're in this world of dark, giant, usually fat and gross giant humans that all seem like they're the excesses of capitalism and stuff like that, or representations of the 7 deadly sins. But they look, have old-timey clothes on, and you have to walk past them, and they're making kids into food and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It feels like a creepy horror take that's somehow also slightly cute on the terrors of capitalism.
Okay.
Nothing you said sounded like it could be cute, but I will take your word for it.
The little character is just like a little girl in a raincoat, just like a little funny, silly little kid. A very fun game, actually. But if you ever played any of those platformers that require sort of precise timing, it's
frustrating.
Frustrating at times too.
Yeah.
Children of the Round Table #2 this week. I think we all liked the second issue. Well, Dave hasn't had a chance to read it, I don't think.
But I will say,
Nick and I both thought this was a notable come up from the first issue.
It was a major.
And we liked the first issue,
but this is getting more into the premise.
So this is Tom Taylor's book where some kids in modern times find themselves inheriting sort of Arthurian Knights of the Round Table powers and sort of
the weapons are all sentient, and there's a Mordred organization that they're on the run from.
Yeah. There's also a badass grandmother.
Yep, and a badass grandmother.
And it's like an all ages thing that's very well done.
Yeah. Spider-Man 94 #2. This is more of the continuation of the animated series,
featuring Kane.
Everything Dead and Dying, the new zombie book from Tate Bromball and Jacob Phillips. I like the first issue of this. Did not get a chance to read #2, but looking forward to it. The long-awaited Event Horizon Dark Descent #2. People really like the first issue of this.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's good to see more of. TMNT Journeys #2. This is that long out of print.
Kind of just hard to find TMNT stuff from the early 2000s.
Yeah, Peter Laird and Jim Lawson, sort of classic stuff.
I really like Jim Lawson's art.
Yeah, me too. Superman Kryptonite Spectrum #3, which finds Superman turned into a Superboy, and then he has to pal around with Shazam while Batman's trying to fix it. Which is kind of fun. This is
the weird Superman special from the guy who did Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, the Ice Cream Man team.
And I haven't read this one yet, but I know I quite like the previous.
I really like these.
Then going up against iterations of Toyman and Dr. Savannah was quite great.
Yep. Supergirl #6, which I really like. Supergirl. This is Sophie Campbell. She, I believe, is being inked by somebody else here, or maybe even doing some other art, but this is like her Halloween issue, and it was fun.
Yeah, I like this one too.
Batman Gotham by Gaslight League for Justice is a sequel to Gotham by Gaslight, whatever the previous, Kryptonite Age. Really enjoying this book. We're seeing the League actually come together and fight their version of General Zod.
Oh, is it still Andy Diggle?
It's still Andy Diggle and Leandro Fernandez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really nice. Absolute Batman 13 introduces the Absolute Catwoman fully, I guess.
Yep.
Eddie Brock Carnage number 9. Really enjoying this. This ends next issue. This is a 10-issue series.
Oh.
And the first trade is out this week, so you can catch up.
That's kind of good in a way, in that it means that it'll be nice and concise and probably have a cool ending.
Avengers 31 is a Kang focus issue explaining the big reveal from last issue. Yep. G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 321 is a silent issue featuring Jinx. I think it's Jinx.
No, that's the female version
Snake
of
Eyes and female
Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Yep.
Yes.
Versus there's a sound. The reason it's silent is that Cobra used some kind of sonic weapon to like immobilize everyone, but Snake Eyes and female Snake Eyes are immune to it, and so they go and fight it.
They should call her Lady Sneaky.
They could call her Lady Sneaky.
You did not share with us any panels that were insane.
I didn't. There were no insane panels this time. And then Godzilla the Kaisei era. This is their superhero Pacific Rim team that fights Godzilla. The third issue of that comes out this week.
Yep.
Did I miss any single issues?
Nope. You got all of them.
No, he missed something.
Oh no!
What did I miss?
You know what? I continue to enjoy Mark Waid's Action Comics.
Oh, okay.
This is the one that is, for all practical purposes, this is Smallville as lensed more through somewhat more DC comic spectrum. And in this one, Clark, who I think is 15 in this when this is set, and just getting kind of testing his powers out. He has like a kind of a sneakers type version of the costume that he wears, but it still has the cape and the basic look down. He is Superboy in it. This actually concludes, at least for now, his interactions with Captain Comet. Captain Comet is like one of those Silver Age DC heroes who was reinterpreted in here, where I think basically, like, it's like he finds out that one of his teachers, is Captain Comet, like a retired version of him. And, his parents, Ma and Pa Kent are like, oh, we remember Captain Comet. He was like a hero in the 50s. He had space adventures or something. And... but he seems to have slightly sinister designs on Clark, and like on sort of like warnings about his future and stuff like that. And there's sort of some clever revelations in this one that cast him in a less sinister light. You're kind of that's why you were doing that kind of thing. And it was pretty interesting. I thought it was a cool story.
We also have a ton of graphic novels. I'll just run out a few of them. Arkham Asylum Living Hell. This is a hardcover edition of the Dan Slott's Arkham Asylum story.
Yeah. Was each issue
no,
like a focus on a different...
I think it might have been.
Inmate, I think.
Yes. But the art on this was by... and why can't I find it? I know it was somebody good.
He introduced a guy named, the Shark?
Ryan,
the Whale?
Oh, yes.
The Whale.
The Whale.
Ryan Sook is the artist on this.
Oh, yeah.
So some really, really pretty artwork.
Yeah, if you want to get in, have some fun inside the walls of Arkham.
Batman Long Halloween gets a compact edition.
Yep.
That's a pretty good deal. That's 12 issues for $10.
It's very, very October thematic.
DC Finest reprints the first few issues of Static. That's Static Shock.
From back in the day.
Okay. Heroes Squared Complete Collection. This is the JM. This was the not Justice League International, but the same creative team doing a superhero book for Boom at the very outset of Boom Comics.
Right.
So sort of a comedic superhero book.
Yep.
Predator Theta Saga. This is all the most recent Predator stuff from Marvel collected into one trade. So it's like 3 trades in one. Lore Olympus Volume 9. More Lore Olympus.
Yep.
Star Wars The Blueprints. This is a really nice hardcover that has blueprints of everything from like the Death Star to the ships to lightsabers.
And it's not just blueprints. There's also a lot of other sort of production art and things like that in there.
There's an adaptation of Wind in the Willows with art by David Petersen of Mouse Guard
really
fame.
nice looking.
Is it? Now, it's not a graphic novel, right? This is
novel. I believe, the actual novel, which may be public domain at this point.
That might be.
I have never read it, but I know it is like one of the quintessential what if little animals, like animals wore little suits and drove around in cars stories.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And is beloved and charming, I think especially in England. But his art in it was amazing. Like, it's clearly a labor of love for him, his illustrations. I think he has both black and white and color illustrations in it.
Then we've got Thor Quest, Fires of the Forgekeep. This is written by Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly, who've done a lot of Marvel stuff. Art by Billy Yong, who's an illustrator who's done some other kids' books. This is a kids' book about Thor, Loki, Fandral, and Sif and they're stuck in the Forgekeep of the dwarfs. It is comics, jokes, maps. Looks like basically a kid's comic of Thor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then we have Warhammer 40k Words of War, which I believe this is an inspirational book of quotes from the world of Warhammer 40k. Yes.
I believe it is, which is to say that means it's wildly over-the-top kind of fascist quotes,
yes.
but kind of in that over-the-top way where it kind of laps around and becomes kind of endearing or funny or darkly funny or terrifying.
Yeah. Fun idea. That is by no means all the graphic novels we have, but it's a good sampling of some of the big ones.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about some other stuff. All right, so we have one bit of kind of big news, and although it's mostly not a lot information, but DC Marvel, after the success of Batman Deadpool, or Deadpool Batman rather, Batman Deadpool hasn't even come out yet, have announced the second round of crossovers. First of all, they're going to do big treasury-size reprints of the original Superman, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man, Superman, which I have recently read because it's in the omnibus. They're both a lot of fun, really good art. And then they're also going to do new Superman, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man, Superman crossovers, which will be, like Deadpool Batman, probably a bunch of other characters in them as well.
Yeah. So this is going to kind of be the format they do it for it, is a Marvel produces one and DC produces one?
Yeah, that's what they did in the past, too.
That's pretty, not in the original crossovers. For
the most part, yeah. Spider-Man, Superman was the same way. Hulk, Spider-Man, Hulk, Superman.
I don't think that was the case for either of those.
I mean, those...
like X-Men Teen Titans wasn't...
X-Men Teen Titans wasn't. But I think the deal was like, it was one of them produced one of them, and then another produced another one. It wasn't the same book.
Oh, well, not the same characters.
But like,
yeah.
So they did X-Men Teen Titans, and then DC did another one, or whoever did.
So I guess here's my question. On the new Superman, Spider-Man, are they going to do it like the Deadpool Batman one, where there's like a version of each of these?
There'll be one that's Superman, Spider-Man, there'll be one that's Spider-Man, Superman.
That's kind of the new format.
And I actually think that's a really clever, really good, kind of splits
What's
things
fun is
differently.
That there's a little competitiveness, because inevitably one can say, well, which one is the better of the two?
Well, also, loading them up with the icons and then letting other people do the smaller character team-ups is really smart. Front loading that, because not everybody is going to buy, Captain Marvel, Catwoman.
Right.
But if you give big guns
Superman,
in the front,
Spider-Man,
or Deadpool, Batman, and then you can do things like Green Arrow, Deadpool, or Green Arrow, Daredevil in the backups, or Jeff and Crypto. Like, you can do these fun things, and I like that a lot. And so I assume we'll get the same kind of thing here. We don't know who the creative teams are.
No.
They haven't said anything. We just know they're doing it next year.
And hopefully they'll do more Amalgam.
I really want to do Amalgam again. I really like that world. There's so many characters they can mash up now.
Well, they introduced a new one.
They did.
So
they did.
Well, here's hoping.
All right. It is Halloween times. This is when I try to watch a lot more horror movies.
And you have.
I have. Although this year I actually didn't have as many new things waiting for me, because usually, as you guys are watching horror movies, I'm like, oh, I'll catch that in October. But this year I've been kind of watching them as they come out.
Yep.
So I've already seen Weapons. I've already seen Final Destination Bloodlines. I've already seen 28 Years Later. I've seen the horror movies as they come out. Yeah. I saw Megan 2.0.
Yep.
So I went back into my list of things I've been putting together for 3 or 4 years, stuff that just didn't make the cut, of horror movies that people have recommended to me to watch. And so I wasn't enthusiastic about a lot of these, obviously, because I've let them sit there for 2 or 3 or 4 years. But as I went back and watched them, I found a lot of gems that I kind of liked. Mm-hmm. So the first one I watched was I Saw the TV Glow, which is an A24 movie. Is not really a horror movie. It is kind of, it's a weird movie.
Yeah, I think it's some of the, at least some of the early trailers kind of, I think A24 knows that they have a horror movie vibe.
Yeah.
Or that that's part of the draw sometimes people have initially to them. So they'll sometimes kind of campaign stuff that way. They did it with Green Knight as well.
Yeah.
And Green Knight is not a horror thing.
But anyway, I didn't like it.
So this one was not one of the gems.
It's interesting, but it's weird. But it's based around a couple of kids who are, one of them is dealing with sort of transitioning, and is also running away from home, and the other one is just a social outcast.
Kids, yeah.
And there's this weird movie that they showed this watch. It's kind of a Buffy supernatural kind of show about people fighting monsters, but it's two lead characters who like usually aren't in the same place. They have like a psychic connection, and it's weird.
Right, that's right. Like, they don't, like, meet, per se, or something like that.
They only meet in the season finale.
It is very much almost like what if David Lynch had done Buffy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is a sort of surreal movie with some thoughts and allegories of transitioning.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those that if it connects with people, it's going to connect with you in a big way.
I have friends who loved it. I did not. I was like, this is weird. I don't know what I just watched.
The same director did a movie called We're All Going to the World's Fair that kind of has the same vibing as well.
Yeah.
Randy, I liked it more than you, but I also was not, like, taken with it.
I think my favorite part about it is the show within the show.
Yeah.
When they're showing me the weird show with the Moon Man and everything, I'm like, oh, this is freaky and weird, and I kind of like it.
Oh.
But all the real world stuff I wasn't plugged into.
But, I'll say this, though. The guy who plays the lead, who was the lead also in, like, the very pop Detective Pikachu.
He was also in Dungeons & Dragons.
And he was in Dungeons & Dragons.
And Jurassic World.
Justice Smith,
He seems to be prolific and not afraid to try weird indie stuff, and so I was pretty impressed with him.
Yeah. I saw Blink Twice, which is Zoe Kravitz's first movie, which I would describe as a feminist Get Out, but not as good.
Right.
Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, I agree.
I think it takes too long to get to it. They spend a lot of time with Channing Tatum is this like rich guy who clearly has had some image issues, and now he just retreats to his private island with his buddies, and they bring along this waitress and her friend.
Sorry, Channing Tatum has had some image issues?
He's the character that he's playing.
Yeah, sexual misconduct stuff.
Oh, like his image, not his self-image or whatever.
No. Like, he has been canceled.
His public.
I gotcha.
And he gathers his bros.
Yeah, and they go to this private island, and so this waitress who's like, they sneak into the party, they wind up being invited out there, and they spend a lot of time on like what a great time they're having. Without getting into the sinister aspect, it takes them a long time to get to the sinister aspect of it.
I think if they had trimmed off about 15 minutes, you could have made it a much more
It could have been a lot
biting,
stronger. It
story.
has a very strong third act.
But I will say, as Zoe Kravitz's first outing as a director,
solid.
It's
solid. It's not
definitely
and
worth
it's got
watching.
Christian Slater's in it. Haley Joel Osment is in it.
He just likes to play scumbags.
He does. He really seems to enjoy it.
He was on, and he played that on The Boys too.
Yeah, he does.
Funny.
My favorite, I think, maybe my favorite of the things. Well, one of my favorite things I've watched was Triangle, which Nick, you've not seen yet.
No, I'm going to try to watch that tonight.
So I won't say too much about it.
You have to be careful about that one because it's kind of got some cool twistiness.
Yeah,
to it.
Dave and I have both seen it and both liked it.
But it does involve a spooky ship at sea.
Yep.
Kind of like a big freighter.
Stars Melissa George from Alias.
Yep.
I don't want to say too much about what it's about. I will just say...
Yeah, we'll have to come back to this one.
It's a 2009 British movie, sort of a smaller indie horror kind of.
Yeah, but it's like one of those ones you go and you see that and you're like, I was not expecting that to be
pays off really well. And in fact, I had to go and search, what did that ending mean? And now I kind of want to watch it again.
It's a pretty satisfying ending.
That's cool.
I watched Heretic, which is... the movie about...
You've been holding off on seeing this one.
This is an A24 as well.
It's Ari Aster, and it's the...
Is it Ari? No, it's not Ari Aster.
Oh, well,
it's not.
This is somebody... Oh, Heretic.
This is Hugh
not
Grant.
Hereditary.
No, not Hereditary.
This is...
right.
Randy won't watch Hereditary.
I'm never going to watch Hereditary.
That's what I was saying. I was like, oh my god, Randy saw Hereditary?
No, Heretic.
Okay, gotcha.
This is Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, directed by Scott
This
Beck
is the
and Brian
scary
Woods.
atheist versus the Mormon girls.
So two young missionaries wind up in this house of this guy, Hugh Grant, who seems charming and odd right from the outset.
Yep.
And he lies to them, straight up lies to them about at least oh yeah, they're like, we can't come in unless your wife is here. He's like, oh, my wife's making blueberry pie.
Yeah.
And
they're excited at first because they're, what do they call this when they go around and
they're missionaries.
Yeah. No, there's a term for this thing.
There is, and I can't remember what it was.
They're doing the thing, and they're like, oh my gosh, we found somebody receptive to listening to us talk about religion.
Yeah.
He's like,
and
yes, please, come on in.
He's very receptive. In fact, he seems to have studied religions. He's asking them challenging questions, but occasionally asks them questions that make them uncomfortable. And there's a vibe throughout this whole thing of I don't know what's happening, but I know this guy's bad in some way.
And then, as this was in the trailer, as they're sitting there and they're starting to get uncomfortable and nervous, he's like, let me go check with my wife and see how the pie is coming along. And they realize that the blueberry pie smell that they smelled is a candle that's in the room.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit, we've got to get out of here.
It is a very good... It's a very small movie. It all takes place in this house.
Yep.
And it's all dialogue stuff. It's really good. Hugh Grant plays a really good skeevy guy.
Oh, man.
He's definitely found that gear in his older years.
I never thought Hugh Grant would be in a horror film, but...
He is incredibly creepy, and this movie had an interesting challenge ahead of it that I think it pretty well succeeded at when I saw it in its original release, which is to say, I am broadly in agreement with his character as he presents himself.
Yeah, same.
He is a atheistic guy who wants to puncture holes in their beliefs or does not want it to, like, finds it ridiculous.
And he backs it up with good information.
He backs it up with good information, and there's an amazing sequence where he breaks out a board game analogy.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And I wondered when we were at the... I was watching it at the Draft House, and early on, like, there was, like, ads for, like, Monopoly or whatever, and I was like, why are they showing this? And now I know. But anyway... but then there is this sinister bent to him, and you're like, oh, well, I don't know that I can get behind this part.
Yeah. It's very good, and I thought one of my favorite things I've watched of everything.
I would say there's almost like there's a sort of Saw element to it.
A little bit.
Sort of he's definitely playing mind games with them. You're never quite sure where he wants to take them, but when he starts promising things like a resurrection, that is a disturbing sequence.
It starts getting weird.
Yeah. So I really like this movie too.
This is streaming somewhere, right?
Yes.
I think it's like HBO.
I think it might be HBO Max. Yes.
So, but definitely worth watching.
Most of this stuff is streaming somewhere. I think I blinked twice. I watched your copy.
Yep.
Although I think that might also be streaming somewhere.
I think it is.
Netflix
It's on
or something.
Hulu.
I saw the TV Glow is on Max, I think.
Yeah, I think that's on.
Triangle, I saw on Peacock, I think.
It's on Peacock, yes.
And then I watched Cam, which I think was also on HBO Max.
Yep.
Cam is a 2018 horror movie. Basically, it's a cam girl, and her account gets stolen by a lookalike, and she's trying to figure out what is happening. This
is such a weirdly specific premise, but I liked the kind of... I've not seen it. But when you told me about it, I was like, that's kind of a cool hook.
It is, and it's an interesting movie. It fell into the problem that a few movies have where I feel like, give me an explanation for what's going on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really give you an explanation of it. It's just like, oh no, this weird thing happened. And
it does feel like something that requires an explanation.
Yeah, it's a little light on the explanation.
Okay.
But the performances are really good. The lead, Madeline Brewer, plays the lead, and she's fantastic.
She's been good in most of the things she's in. She's on Handmaid's Tale and Orange is the New Black.
Oh, yeah, I recognize her from Handmaid's Tale. Yeah.
Yep.
Orange is the Black. I recognize her too. I watched Drag Me to Hell. The Sam Raimi
Raimi's
movie.
Anarchic.
Had you not seen this before?
No. It's very Sam Raimi.
It is the cliche, in a way, of the gypsy curse.
Yes. I actually felt that uncomfortable. Because also, the lead character, she's not a good person. Like, no. She doesn't deserve what she gets, because all she did was, like, trying to do her job.
Yep.
And she was being a little heartless, but it was her job.
Yep.
And the woman who cursed her was like, she couldn't help her with her mortgage.
Yeah.
And so the woman curses her, and I'm like, okay, that lady's just doing your job. Like, go curse the bank manager.
This is one that I think is less about a morality play where we're meant to be like, oh, I'll think about this moral conundrum like it's an A24 movie.
Yeah.
And more it's meant to be like an old school kind of thrill ride where, like, kind of like how also in old Tales from the Crypts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You would have these sort of sinister people or selfish people, and they would sometimes get what they deserve, or maybe they'd be like, well, he's not terrible, as in her case, but she's also not some saint.
This is like a quintessential popcorn horror flick.
Yeah. It's got the grody stuff, it's got the camera zoom. It is a Sam Raimi movie.
Oh, 100%.
And I would honestly say, if I'm going to watch it, I'd watch Evil Dead or Army of Darkness. This is a much lesser outing for him.
I don't think so.
I don't
really.
think so.
I would watch it actually before those.
This did not grab my attention like this.
Man,
this has less of a sense of humor than those.
You think?
I didn't find it as funny.
Oh my gosh!
The stuff where she's like at his family's house, her boyfriend's family's house. I found that uncomfortable, not funny.
Now, I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm not particularly.
I think that's part of the thing, though. It's like it is supposed to be uncomfortable humor.
Yeah, it doesn't speak. I like the more absurdist stuff that he does.
I should hate this movie. She sacrifices a cat.
She does.
And
they show it.
And they show it, sort of. Yeah. But
it is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous,
and funny.
over the top. I find this movy.
I did not love this one. It was okay.
I don't say charming, because that's the wrong one. But there's a lot to like.
Yeah, no. To me, actually, I now kind of want to revisit it. But I thought of it as a really good popcorn.
And also has Barbarian guy in it.
Justin
Long as the boyfriend.
God, I forgot that. He is like a horror guy.
He
was also the lead in Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
I watched Smile 2 because despite hearing that Smile sucked, I've heard Smile 2 is pretty good.
Yep.
I did not love it. I thought there's Smile, for those who don't know, it has the big thing about it is it's got this weird, people have these weird demonic smiles They just like come at you smiling.
Right. It's like you're kind of haunted by it. So you'll see people in crowds and near to you with these creepy smiles. And I guess when you see that, you know the demon is coming for you,
or the demon's in your head or whatever.
Right.
So for creepy smiles, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. There's a little girl. It's about a pop star who's she had like drug problems. She basically flamed out. This is her big comeback tour. Her mom, who's her manager, is like, "This is your last shot."
Yep.
Would this be a little bit like like a Miley Cyrus or something like that?
Definitely that vibe.
Yeah.
And so she winds up. She's supposed to be off all her painkillers, but she still needs Percocet to get through it.
Right.
She goes to a friend's house who she's been getting this painkiller for, and he has been possessed by the smile demon, and he kills himself in front of her, which is how the thing passes.
Yeah.
So she's been infected by the smile demon and starts seeing these weird smiles everywhere. And there's a lot of really good... She's alone a lot of the time. You get a lot of like smiling demon stuff coming at her. There's a really effective scene in her bedroom where like 20 fans are chasing her around with these big smiles, and like they're climbing the walls almost like a Bob Fosse routine.
The director can build a scene and like executes them well.
It's scary and creepy. The story doesn't make a bit of goddamn sense. They're so in love with the demon is in your head, and the demon can make you see things and do things, and so
there's a kind of you don't know what's real.
I don't know what's real. I got to the end of this and I don't know what actually happened.
Yeah.
And the ending is also very effective and creepy.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, that's good, but the build up to get there was not satisfying.
Yeah, I think I was sort of taken by the lead performance.
She's great,
and she carried it. Where the first one, I thought the lead performance was just okay.
Yeah,
and the nihilistic bent of "you can't beat this thing," really turned me off. This one, where it's still the same creature, you still have the same logistics, the nihilistic bent, but I cared for the character a little bit more, and her performance was such that she carried the movie for me.
Yeah.
I'll probably catch this at some point, but yeah, I'm like, the nihilistic bent was the thing we hated about the first one. And if it's still
I'm contradicting myself
for a character that you care about,
I know.
But I guess it made it be better put together.
I guess it was the first one was like all dealing with family trauma that you can't escape.
Yeah.
And this one was dealing with like trauma, but not that specific.
Rockstar trauma.
It was rockstar trauma. So I can kind of
you can't relate to that. I certainly can.
Dave, we all know about your rock star trauma.
Like Hannah Montana, I have a secret identity thing going on.
I watched Five Nights at Freddy's because Dave's about to run a game with some Five Nights at Freddy's themes, and I don't know much about it, but I was like, I'll watch the movie. Our staffer Jeanette is a big fan, so she loaned me her Blu-ray, and I find it kind of fun. It was enjoyable.
I like it. I've actually seen it twice now, and I enjoy its creepy little all-ages story, which is more... It is more just like spooky than it is. There's like almost no big scares in it. They kind of soft pedal their jump scares.
There's one big murder scene where all the creatures murder a bunch of bad people.
There are some bad people in it, and they bring it upon themselves.
But I would say that it has more of a character story than I was expecting.
Yeah, interesting. It actually, theoretically has like an A24 story because it's about like
a broken family,
grief and loss, and how you get through that.
And a big brother taking care of a very little sister.
Yeah, much younger sister.
What that entails, and
he's not like a natural parent, and so this is very much A24 themes.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny.
I always forget the actor's name.
And somehow it's an all-ages movie.
It's the guy who played PETA.
Yeah, PETA from Hunger Games.
Somehow it's an all-ages movie that manages to have a palatable story about missing and murdered children.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive. I guess
It was good enough that now I want to see the sequel that's coming out.
And also has Matthew Lillard.
It does. He did a good job, I thought. There's some weird pacing issues, I think, in the movie, and it's a little dry at times. Yeah. It's a little slow here and there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are gonna have some Freddy in your Five Nights at Freddy's movie. But yeah, I was surprised by it too.
Speaking of movies that I now want to see the sequel to, I finally watched The Black Phone. This is Scott Derrickson and Cargill. Their story of it's set in the 70s. It's based on a Joe Hill story. And Dave and I were talking about this the other day, I think. Joe Hill and Stephen King definitely both have a lot of writing ticks in common. This is 70s bullies who... I grew up in the 70s. I was bullied in the 70s. I was never afraid that my bully was going to take a switchblade to my face or something. Their bullies are unbelievably cruel and evil.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, but it's such a weird thing. And that lack of reality in it sometimes drags me out of it a little bit, because the rest of it is pretty good, but it's got that sort of Shane Black heightened kid thing,
right?
That it feels very writerly. It feels overwritten.
I also a little bit, but I also like the smart kid aspect of it.
Yeah, sure.
And that was very much. But
most kids are pretty dumb, so
not all of them, and there can be smart kids, and King can write them.
So let's just say, like, the basic premise is that there's a scary person kidnapping kids
called the Grabber.
Called the Grabber. He's got that scary ass looking goblin-y mask.
He's got a goblin mask. Yep. Looks like it's made of stone.
And remind me, like, does he take just the lead character?
So he's been taking several. He's been taking kids, and the lead character who will be kidnapped, and sort of the main central character, has a sister who has like psychic abilities. Because again, it's a Joe Hill / Stephen King story.
Yep.
And they gotta do the psychic powers.
She's got the shining.
She can see. She's seen like some guy with black balloons is kidnapping kids, and the cops like come around to their house. Because they're like, how do you know that? We haven't released that information. And then her abusive dad gets mad at her. Abusive dad played by Jeremy something from Lost.
Oh, yeah.
He plays a mulleted abusive dad who, like, his wife had the psychic abilities and she killed herself.
Yep.
And so he's scared of it, and he drinks, and he's kind of a mess. And the kids are, like, basically allied against him. And, like, the girl will go to spend the night with her friends, and the brother will be like, okay, I'll look after dad.
Yeah, I forget.
There's a fucked up family dynamics.
Yeah, I forget if they try to show a redemptive thing for him or just
not really. He just kind of seems. He says he's sorry at the end. He comes in and
I think he accepts the gift, right?
Sort of, not really.
Okay.
But he does come crying to them at the end. I couldn't quite tell if it's supposed to be redemptive, if they were supposed to be like, yeah, whatever, Dad, we know you're going to beat us tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe a trigger warning if that kind of abuse might push you.
But anyway, so this kid is kidnapped. And he finds out he also has sort of a psychic ability because there's a phone in the room where he's kidnapped to, and it rings, and he can talk to the other kids who are killed and kidnapped. And they give him
the afterlife.
From the afterlife,
yeah.
And they don't always remember who they are, but he kind of figures out who they are. And there was like his friend, and then there was his bully, and some other people, and they tell him little bits of things like where there's a place to dig, or where there's some wire that they hid away, or don't go upstairs, he's waiting for you, and if you go upstairs, he's going to beat you with a belt.
I thought it was a fun concept.
Yeah, it's a good concept. And
the part where he's like, I remember there's some like pretty amazing suspense when he first kind of tries to get out.
Yeah.
And it's very spooky.
Yeah. Also, the villain is played by Ethan Hawke.
And Ethan Hawke's great in this.
Ethan Hawke is amazing.
Really enjoyed this, and definitely want to see Black Phone 2, where they're going to, Ethan Hawke's character dies in this, spoilers.
Yep.
And he is back in sort of a psychic form in the second one, where I think they can expand the concept and do some really fun stuff with it. And both kids are a little older, so it'll be interesting. And then the last thing I watched was last night I watched The Blackening, which is the tagline for this was, "We can't all die first."
Yeah.
It is an entirely black cast, except for Diedrich Bader playing, I kid you not, his name is Marshall White.
Yep.
Ranger White.
Ranger White.
Sort of a send-up of black horror tropes or white people using black people in horror movie tropes.
So it's a group of friends who have some complicated relationships. Some of them really... There's a guy who's together with his girlfriend again. They've broken up multiple times. Her gay best friend hates him. And so they're all together. They're all getting together. They've all been friends for a long time. There's like a nerdy guy that they don't really like that much.
Yep.
And they get together in this like Airbnb type house, and they find in the basement this very racist game called The Blackening.
Yep.
That has like a weird like Sambo spinner that talks to them and they basically have to answer questions about black culture. If they get it wrong, a guy with a crossbow comes and starts killing them.
Okay.
And there's develops from there.
Yep.
It is a horror comedy. The characters
take it serious part serious?
Yeah, it's definitely people get killed.
Yes, people get killed, but it definitely does have kind of a...
It's not like too grim about it.
No, it's not a grim.
It's definitely a little goofy.
Let me just ask: is there a reason why they don't just stop playing the game that gets them killed?
Because that's what gets them killed.
Okay.
If they don't play the game, they get killed.
Oh man, what a trick! This guy, the person behind this, must be a villain.
But it was really fun, and I liked the characters a lot, and I liked it cracked me up several times.
Yeah.
I remember some good stuff just in the trailers.
It was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure if it was like the trailer was all there was and the movie wasn't good, but I wound up really liking it.
Yeah, this is on Netflix right now.
Right, yeah. And The Black Phone is on Paramount, I believe. Paramount Plus.
It is.
Five Nights at Freddy's is streaming nowhere.
You have to buy it.
Smile 2 is on Max, and Drag Me to Hell is on Max, I believe, as well.
Okay. Max is like killing it with
they got a bunch. Everybody's got their horror stuff lined up.
Yeah, that's true.
Nick, what have you been watching?
So I watched all the Paranormal Activity movies. So that is 6 movies.
Wow.
Had you seen any of them before?
I'd seen the first one, but I'd seen it when it originally came out, so I'd forgotten most of it. Yeah. I was surprised at how interconnected all of them were to a point. Yep. It goes 5, and then 6 is a rethink.
Yeah, the initial 3 were... I think originally it was planned to be, if it took off, a trilogy, and each one kind of jumps back a little further in time
kind
you get back to the 1980s and sort of all the cards are on the table. And there is still some follow-up in the other movies, but I would almost say that's the core trilogy.
Yeah. They're fun movies. I don't think they're amazing. The first one is the best.
It's really good, I think.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
It is that sort of spooky, this could happen to you horror.
A little bit, but there were a couple of times I'm like, okay.
Why are you being so dumb?
Why are you being so dumb? Why are you grabbing a camera? Why are you grabbing a camera to go downstairs?
So for people who don't know, this is a young couple. Are they married or not?
Boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
But they've got some money between them. He's like a day trader or something.
Yeah, day trader.
And they've got some money and they've got a nice 2-story house and stuff like this. And she has had weird supernatural experiences her whole life.
Right.
That she doesn't really have an explanation for, seems to have followed her to the new house.
Something is haunting her.
And he is a big old D-bag. And he's like, oh, this is going to be exciting, honey. This is fun. It's not real.
Because they're hearing sounds.
He wants to record it, and he's kind of playing it all a little oh, this is just a fun thing. And she's, traumatized by it.
Yep.
Incidentally, this is another one of those where initially I'm watching it, and I'm like, I was almost, in his camp before, because I'm like, yeah, I don't believe in any of this supernatural stuff. But... at a certain point, when it's, traumatizing your girlfriend, you probably want to, be cooler about it.
Take it more seriously.
And, but he's a good facilitator to, oh, why do they keep filming? Because he's a D-bag.
Yeah.
He makes everything about himself.
I was more in line with the priest that shows up and he's like, yeah, I can't be here. Sorry.
That's actually one of my favorite scenes in it. That was they call
Peace
somebody
out.
in, and he's just he starts to, if I'm not mistaken, he starts to walk into the house. And he's it's he senses something, and he's like, I can't be here.
I can't be here. It does not want me here.
Yeah. That was a cool scene.
It was. And they're all of these movies are peppered with interesting scenes and ideas. The execution sometimes, especially as they go further on in the series, kind of lessens because it is the same thing. It's still the same found footage.
Right. But they do, I remember, in the third one, when they get to the 80s, there's somebody who owns does wedding videos or something like that, right?
Yeah,
so he's got all this video equipment for his job, and there's still a reason for them to be recording.
I like that he
stuff.
takes apart a fan. And
one of those old oscillating fans that goes back and forth, and they put a camera on it, and so this makes for some extremely creepy scenes where it'll be that when it pans, I believe it shows the kitchen and then pans over to a hallway or an adjacent room. Yep. And so sometimes you'll see somebody's in the kitchen when it pans to the kitchen. One of our people, the main characters, and it pans over to the other side. There's something super scary there. Yeah. And it pans over to the person. They're still there. It pans back to the thing. There's nothing there. Right. And you're like, what the f*** is about to happen?
I think
there's some big scares in them, is what I recall.
There are some big scares.
They deliver on it.
There's not so much jump scares as more kind of just creepiness.
Isn't there a scene where all their dishes fall at once that are hanging from the ceiling?
That's the second one.
Yeah. And to this date, when I'm in a house where they have the stuff suspended over the kitchen from hooks and stuff, I'm like, when is it going to fall? When is it all going to fall at once?
So I would recommend the first one. If you they're all on Paramount Plus right now. Yeah. If you want to do the whole series, you can. Apparently,
I think
Nick, that is not a ringing endorsement.
You know what? I think they're worthwhile movies. I will agree that I think none of them are great, but I would say the first 3 are quite good. Yeah. And if you like found footage at all.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting one later on with I forget if it's the 4th or the 5th one, but that has the sort of Latino family.
That one I think is quite good.
And they there's
the
like
marked ones.
The marked ones, yeah. There's like a vent or whatever where they can hear something weird going on down below, and they think it's like a bruja or something like that.
Witch doctor.
Yeah. Not a brouhaha, but a bruja.
And some spooky stuff, and also just a bit of a change from the normal white people suburbia.
Yes. Which I thought was cool, and kind of
crazily, it does connect up directly with the first one in the wildest way possible at the end. That was pretty cool.
It was.
Actually.
I also watched 2 movies on Shudder, which is a service that I do recommend. It's a lot of really good stuff.
Last year I got Shudder for a month. This year I'm trying to just watch the stuff I have.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things on Shudder I really want to watch.
So they just put on a movie, Dangerous Animals, which I know we talked about a preview a while back that looked kind of like a serial killer who's obsessed with sharks.
I don't remember this.
It's with Jai Courtney.
Oh, yeah, I remember it now.
Nick mentioned that, and I cannot picture it.
Oh, man, we definitely... Because I remember I spent the entire time shit-talking Jai Courtney.
Yeah, and yes, I can agree with that. Jai Courtney is not the strongest actor. However... his turn as this kind of sadistic, super obsessed with sharks and kind of... it sounds bonkers, but he does such a good job with it.
All right.
And I actually thought this was a pretty clever movie about kind of a wayward woman who's like a surfer, kind of bounces around in her van that she lives in.
Okay.
And she kind of has a one-night stand with a guy... and the next morning, she kind of bails on him after having sex and goes to surf and then gets kidnapped by Jai Courtney, who is a person who gives shark tours.
Okay.
And it kind of goes bonkers from there. But it is gory as hell. There is a scene that I was like, I didn't know I didn't need to see that, but now it's forever in my brain. Involving somebody gnawing a finger off of their hand.
Okay.
It was...
I'm not sure if I'm being sold on this.
I think it comes down to execution. It was really good.
Does this compare to any other kind of horror or serial killer type movie? Like, is there anything that's kind of like it?
I mean, it's like, there's elements of, like, basically a captive trying to get break free. Like, like in The Black Phone, the kid's trying to break free.
Is it Crawl meets Saw?
I mean, kind of, sort of.
Crawl.
That is
not Crawl.
That is not a bad comparison in some ways because sharks do factor in.
Scroll.
But yeah, I do think it's worth watching. I might not be selling it perfectly, but I was very surprised by it. And then the other one is called Night of the Reaper. This one... I didn't know. It's from a director I'd never heard of, stars I'd never heard of, but it was getting solid things. It kind of is about a babysitter set in the 70s. She gets killed in a very creepy way. It has a great opening about a kid saying that some creature lives in his closet. And then when he goes to sleep, there's this weird bear that appears with the sign that says, "You'll be mine," and it's just very kind of bizarre.
That old cliche of the "You'll be mine" bear. We all see that when we're...
mine bear, yeah.
I get my sleep paralysis. I'm like, oh, please don't be the "You'll be mine" bear. Please don't be the "You'll be mine" bear.
She ends up being killed, and then it kind of cuts a few years later, and dealing with the fallout of that for the sheriff.
It's a little like the... what was it, the famous 70s movie When a Stranger Calls, which begins with a spooky babysitter sequence and then jumps ahead of time.
It definitely has more in line with 70s horror than new school horror. It has that sort of slow pacing, like Halloween. Focuses a little bit more on characters. I was really into it. I will say the ending kind of, in trying to explain everything, it does kind of falter at times.
Like over exposition?
It's a little bit like they're trying to tie up all the loose ends, and there's a lot of loose ends. And it's like, you kind of have to suspend some disbelief. But I
hope it's not weirder than Malignant.
No. Nothing could be as...
Remember when they're just talking at some point and somebody falls through the ceiling?
Yep. It was wonderful.
Love that scene. Yes, it was very good. Very good. That's a special kind of goofy movie.
But it's, again, I liked the ride. I thought the vibes were good. I like 70s horror. I like kind of the slasher genre, as it turns out. And this kind of has all of that, it wrapped up in one. So
Okay.
I dug it.
What was that called, Nick?
Night of the Reaper.
Okay. So there's one that I want to see called Sorry About the Demons that's on Shudder. It looked interesting. I
have not
seems
heard
to be
of
a
this
little
one.
more horror comedy, but that's been on my list for a while. I think I'm not going to do Shudder this year, but if I do, that is definitely the one I'm going to watch.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, sure.
But yeah. All right, is that everything you've watched so far?
That's it.
All right. We may revisit this later in the month. Like I said, I'm trying to do one a day and mostly staying on that. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yep.
I know Nick's going to catch up some stuff. Dave might catch a few.
Nope.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll be back next week with more. Until that time,
Yo, Joe.
Roguecast is a weekly podcast broadcast from Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas. You can find us online on Facebook and at www.roguesgallerytx.com and email us comments or questions at roguesgallerytx@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.